Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here this morning on April 7th, 2015. Just waiting for some ICs to join us. Wanted to give a few more minutes, but I hope everybody had a happy, great Easter with the family and Easter holiday, and definitely want to spend some time today with you to share some of the news that are happening within the industry. So with me today, obviously, is Amalia, and I'll have her maybe say hi.
All right, good morning, everyone, and I hope you all enjoyed your Easter, and welcome to the webinar.
Excellent. Today's webinar is going to be a short webinar. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're going to try to cover as much as possible, but it will be a bit short. And next week, just to kind of preempt for next week, we're going to start rolling out our case studies again. Just been a bit of a delay on that, but we're going to start having case studies so that way you can start showcasing them as well to your clients. And because of the fact that we're going to have the Digital Summit in Toronto, it'll be great that I'll probably be sharing one or two case studies from the presentation. So definitely a lot of good things happening regarding adaptive SEO case studies next week. So to begin this week, we're going to talk about the latest news and articles, and obviously some of the questions that you may have. I know there's been a bit of a big buzz in regards to the change in algorithm, Google algorithm at April 21. So there's a big buzz in the industry about that. So we have a few articles that we're going to cover on that. But to begin today, Amalia, if you want to kind of take us and begin the process.
Yes, absolutely. I actually came off a really good article. It was called Increasing Search Visibility with Google's Entity Search. Basically, Google is moving towards entity search. It's basically changing how search marketers operate. Basically, Google began this about 2 years ago in an effort to increase relevancy by identifying what the words mean. By developing a smarter search that understands the correlation between strings of characters and real-life context, Google can improve the user's experience by offering timely and accurate results. Since then, we've seen a major evolution of the search that has changed listings for organic, paid, local, shopping, and many additional features. So basically, that's been on the go for the last 2 years. You might ask, what does this mean for your brand? Entity search and knowledge graph. What that is it's used to enhance Google search results with semantic search, information gathered by a variety of sources. Google's entity search aims to expand the knowledge graph by understanding relationships through stringing together relevant data. When, let's say, for example, users search for whatever items it could be, Google analyzes past searches on the similar topics and then collects the information. And I'm sure you've already seen this when you've tried to Google something. It sometimes brings up past information. Google takes the information and then displays it directly on its search page with a graph panel. These panels save users the time basically, and allows search engines to search and learn more about the behaviors and interests of its users. Google is basically leveraging this knowledge graph, and it's connected web information to suggest related points of interest to simplify the search experience and help further educate users. So I'm sure you'll find this once you go into Google and you search this, you'll see sort of past events sort of pop up, and again, graph indicated to at the bottom of the page. Anyway, do you want to add anything there, Armando?
Yeah, I'm going to share in a second a great tool because I know that sometimes people you may have questions in regards to the knowledge graph and how it works and Google's entity search. So I'm going to kind of give you a bit of a walkthrough in a second. But the key thing here is really leveraging from Google's tools, or leveraging from Google's functions and features that they're offering through the search engine. So in order to do that, obviously, there are a couple of things that we can do as marketers, or internet marketers, or digital marketers. One of them is really obviously continuing to focus on quality content, having our clients have reviews on the different on Google Plus. And that will be showcased on the knowledge graph, product listings, local presence, PPC campaigns, and the whole thing is really for you to develop a whole brand or develop a presence around your brand by leveraging from the digital assets. So that's what it's very important to you don't have to do this. Like if you're, for example, doing a digital marketing strategy or just an SEO strategy for one of your clients, you don't have to focus on all of it with all your keywords. Perhaps just choose one or two keywords and try to leverage as much as possible from it. So I'm going to share with you in a second what potentially you could be doing. Just a second here as I bring up my screen. Okay, so this is I'm going to also post this link, and okay, so I just posted a link about what actually is the Google's search graph, right? And basically, this is kind of cool too that that Google added, shows us, so for example, we're looking at Da Vinci, or we could be looking at a place or a thing. In this case, we're looking at Da Vinci, and we press continue or search. It automatically gives us, this is the knowledge graph right here on the right hand side, these results. Apart from the results that you have on your page search on the left hand side and your places results, your PPC results and your organic results, on the right hand side you will get, for example, in this case, not only just the keyword or the person that you are optimizing for, a brand or company brand, but you're also getting additional related elements that are popping up. So the key thing is to, if you have your information updated on your website, on your Google Plus business profile page, the likelihood of having complete information of your brand or your company name, in this case, will be showing up here on the right hand side. And then you can obviously, this is what the entity searches that we're talking about today is really about, a list of collection of things that are happening around that person. So you can have, and we've all seen these strips kind of, this carousels move up in the, show up or display on the Google search results. So this is a great the link that I just posted that kind of explains to you, for example, how Google is really trying to fine-tune the search results to give users a better experience, right? So there is relevant information that have to do that are popping up based on the searches. So if anybody has any questions in regards to the what is a knowledge graph and how does that operate, well, this is a good link to kind of have a review at, because clients may come up with that question. The other thing that I wanted to share in this article that Amalia shared, which is a really good article, is the fact that these graph panels that we're having are really opportunities for you to for us as marketers to leverage from. And it's obviously about creating valuable content, solving problems, and really gaining that authority on the organic search. So for example, in this case with Nike, it's a little bit blurry. My apologies. It's really the website, the way they posted the image. But for example, Nike, in this case, they have their paid search. They have their company name brand. Sorry. And if you can look at it, they even have reviews placed on the knowledge graph. So first you have your knowledge graph, brief description, and as a matter of fact, these are the Google reviews and ratings. They actually have actual people reviewing them, right? It's posted, and these are being fed from their Google business profile page, right? All the way to similar searches, right? So if you are able to properly optimize your Google Places, your Google Places with all the information, the relevant information, the likelihood of you having a very strong graph panel result for your company or the company that you're working, your client, it will show up right here, right? Obviously, in this case, Nike is really monopolizing the whole page. I mean, even if they're in the news. But it shows that, with the graph panel, that the knowledge graph panel, you can definitely leverage from all the things that Google is doing. And this is pretty much, free real estate for advertising, right? So that's why, for example, at ALM, we're always touching base with the ICs to make sure that, we're always encouraging the ICs to have their clients not just post their reviews on Yelp, or let's say, for example, if it's a travel site, TripAdvisor, for example, but also encourage the client to have their end customers post reviews on Google Plus, because these are also showing up on the knowledge graph panel. Right now, we also know that another tool that Google has done is really with the paid search. So sometimes when you're doing that any PPC campaigns, And for example, anything that has to do with a how-to search, how to change oil, how to change a tire, for example, these type of key phrases, sometimes, they won't trigger specifically a graph panel, but what you can do, definitely you'll notice that in some cases they have even answers, which is the Google answers, right? To refill your oil. So if you're asking how to change oil, it kind of tells you, but you can leverage from that, maybe choosing in your PPC campaigns keywords and putting ads related to how to, right? So that's something that it's very important. Now I will tell you that right now we're currently working with a dealership here in Toronto, and we've kind of looked at this, and I don't have any results yet, but I kind of wanted to share that. Hopefully in the next few weeks I'll be able to kind of share some of those results in regards to using the how to change or how to keyword phrases on the paid search campaigns in order to show up right above the Google answers. This is the Google answers, right? Obviously, on top of that, you can capitalize on it, and it's going to be very tough to get, when you're competing against Wiki, but you can also have very strong blog posting written with keywords, that are relevant to the how-to section. So very important to take this into consideration because Google is definitely providing those opportunities as well. Within local search, again, in this case, with the search results that are happening, sometimes we're only getting 3 search results. But if some people may actually just look directly into Google Maps, and you have additional search results that are happening. So it's very important that again you keep your relevant information very clean, updated, right? So again, reviews. You have your call outs here, with the address, what type of restaurant, for example, what type of food, cuisine, and also you have a description. And in some cases, for example, you'll see that they'll have they'll display the for example, this one, Wild Fish Seafood Grill, it tells you what time it opens at. So the whole key thing is to take leverage from what Google's providing us, all these tools, and keeping them updated, so that way you can pretty much be able to leverage from from those tools and be able to get additional branding, additional authority. So keeping your Google Places up to date is very important. So I think that's what I kind of wanted to share. I mean, the author that Amalia talks about, goes into the shopping opportunities, and a lot of us have seen this. For example, in this case with the brand Boogaboo, within Google Shopping, you'll notice that they have the search results will have some products and pricing already, right, which are sponsored. Okay, this is a carousel, but at the same time, you can see here a perfect example of Boogaboo as a brand really leveraging from their updated Google Plus information, because this is where everything's being fed to the search engines. It talks about customer service telephone numbers, when it was founded, who the CEO is. It has even Instagram profiles. So the key thing is keep your information relevant, updated, and you will start seeing some better results on the knowledge graphs, Google knowledge graphs for your clients. Okay, so definitely wanted to share that with you because I think that that's important as we continue to evolve with Google, and all these things obviously have a tendency to have a relevancy with relevant to also mobile. Excellent. So moving forward, another interesting article that I wanted to share with you is in regards to what they're calling now the Mopocalypse, which is really what's happening in April 21, when Google is going to be rolling out this mobile-friendly algorithm. So I can tell you that many of your clients are still running behind, and they don't know what's happening, and they're still trying to decide whether they make a move or let it go, while others are scrambling, right, to make a change. And I'm pretty sure that you can take a little bit of credit to the fact that you've been telling your clients to make this changes since last year. And again, this article kind of talks about a couple of things that you can do if you're caught a bit late in the game. What are some of the things that you can do to minimize the damage if you won't be able to make the April 21st deadline in converting your website fully to mobile friendly? Interestingly enough, The author who wrote this article actually talked about the fact that they did a research on their local. It was two types of local clients they have. The one were lawyers, and the other one were plastic surgeons. And when they did research on their clients, because they focus on those two verticals, on lawyers and plastic surgeons, and when they did the research, they noticed that 50% of their reported traffic was coming from mobile, and primarily why? Because it's local businesses. So local, if your business is focusing strictly on a local strategy, mobile it's a must, right? Like that's where you kind of have to. I wouldn't even recommend you not taking any client that's not mobile, because it's going to be so challenging for you to optimize them just via desktop, right? So here are some of the recommendations that the article talks about in regards to overcoming or surviving the Mopocalypse. Other people calling it the mobile Armageddon. So they have all these names that are happening on April 21 for this Google update. It's no longer an animal related like Google's panda or pigeon. Now they're calling them Mopocalypse. Anyhow, number one, obviously we talked about it, get a mobile website. Google's recommendation is really to do responsive web design, and we talked about that. What are the benefits of having a responsive website? Well, it's really very simple for the bots to crawl, right? It's also more cost effective than other ways of doing it. And I'm going to kind of talk about three of them. So the first one's responsive web design. The other one's what's called dynamic serving. And I'll talk a little bit about that. And then the third one is separate URLs. So the one that really Google recommends is probably it's actually having a full responsive web design, because it really captures your desktop version and transforms that version into the mobile version. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is dynamic serving. And what dynamic serving is really HTML code of your site basically will change depending on device. So what ends up happening is that it's a little bit more custom work that's required, whereas a responsive will just take your whole website and try to accommodate it as much as possible, as best as possible to your response to your mobile version. The dynamic serving version is a little bit more costly, because what happens is that the programmer has to add additional code. For example, a specific code for desktop, a specific code for tablet versions. It has to get tested via for tablet versions, a specific code for mobile. So it goes through the whole three-way transition. While responsive, it pretty much just responds to whatever mode of conversion is, whether it's from desktop to mobile. So I'll kind of go back to that in a little while, so that way I can fully explain it, because it's a great article that I'm also going to share with you. The only thing about dynamic is because it requires additional coding, customized depending on device, right? It will cost more. However, the user experience is a little bit better, because the website has been designed specifically for the mobile device, for the tablet device, for the desktop device, right? While responsive is more generic. It's all in one, fits all, right? Model, right? While dynamics a little bit more custom. And then we have separate URLs. I think that this is a version that I would recommend if your client can't make the deadline by April 21st, at least get a simple mobile website while you build them a responsive website. Right. That's if your client, has a very strong SEO presence, and at this stage, you don't want them to go down. Maybe, you can use solutions like Duda, for example, which is a WSI partner that may help you. And this is when you have, for example, a separate URL where your desktop version gets redirected to an abccompany.com. And that could be a temporary fix. I don't think, and I wouldn't recommend this to be a long-term fix. Perhaps this is a 3-month fix while you build them a proper responsive website, right? And in this case, I would recommend creating the number of pages based on their top SEO ranking pages. So that way, when Google bots are looking at it and they're looking at the top ranking pages, they don't lose that SEO authority. right? So it could be a 6, a 10, a 15-page mobile website that you're creating using the Duda mobile platform, for example. I mean, there's others, but I know that many ICs are using Duda. Very easy to do. It's very easy to deploy. And very quickly too at the same time. So it is an option. I've put it here as a number 3 because it's not a long-term option. It's a temporary option. The proper option should be doing a proper responsive website design or dynamic serving. Okay. The other key thing is that you want to do Barnacle SEO. We've talked about Barnacle SEO on many occasions, and obviously, what is Barnacle SEO? Is a system in which you identify large, high-ranking websites and add your information to those online directories in the hopes of borrowing some of their page 1 rankings. So in some cases, what you're doing is even doing a bit of a small link building strategy of optimizing for your clients' results on Yelp, Angie's List, Foursquare, Google Plus, etc. And the whole goal here is to make sure that because your website may not go mobile on April 21st, you still want to make sure that your brand can be captured. And if these directories are in the top 3 or top 5 spots for specific keywords, it's always good to do some Barnacle SEO to make sure that you don't kind of have a total loss of search rankings, including these ones, right? That are being featured on these directories. So what you may want to do, for example, is do a bit of a strategy to try to lift those results. And maybe your website, the website's not coming up, the URL's not coming up that you're optimizing, but at least the brand's being featured on these directories. Okay, so Barnacle is another way of actually trying to minimize some of the damage that's happening because of the algorithm change. And the other thing is mobile helps local. Definitely. If you recall Pigeon's algorithm update, the whole goal for Pigeon's the Pigeon update was to improve user search experience by providing more useful, locally relevant results. I mean, that was the key thing that happened. And mobile equals local now, right? So this is where you have a great, sales pitch, or not even a sales pitch, but a great recommendation from a consulting perspective to work with your local small, medium-sized companies and tell them, look, you got to go local because mobile search location, as it kind of continues to evolve, Google's is going to be using this information to on searches that people are typing on their mobiles, and if your company is not leveraging from that, they're going to definitely be left behind, right? So mobile search location is very important, and that's where it can definitely be a leg up for small businesses, because if you are a national brand, for example, and you're selling widgets, or let's say, I don't know, equipment parts in all of the U.S., and you don't have a location in a city like, let's say, Detroit, for example. Let's say you're a parts location that's in Hackensack, New Jersey, just to give you a city, and they have an SEO strategy. They wouldn't be able to capitalize from a local strategy in the Detroit searches, right? So, but however, if you're a parts manufacturer in Detroit and you're focusing on the small on that small targeted area, mobile will definitely help you, because it actually puts small businesses on the actual storefront in the marketplace. It helps them really focus more on mobile, on local searches. So, for example, obviously restaurants, lawyers, physiotherapists, for example, doctors, dentists, all these local businesses should definitely go mobile, because people are searching them on their mobile phone. Like I mentioned in the study that was conducted, where 50% of their reported traffic, for example, for lawyers and cosmetic surgeons, I think it was all 50% was mobile. So this is where your local businesses can definitely leverage, and this is another bit of information that you can share with them, to convert them. Now, before I move to the next slide, just give me a quick second. I want to show a little bit about that what I was sharing with you in regards to the difference between responsive web design, and dynamic serving. So here's a great article. It's a third-party company. Obviously, they're actually a design company. They do design, website design, but they talk about the difference between responsive design and dynamic serving, and which one is really better. It really comes to the fact of I would be on your client's budget, but also on the type of website they have. If it's a website that's really engaging and it's very interactive, maybe you may want to be able to do dynamic serving because what it does, it actually fits right into each device. So the website's actually programmed with additional code to fit each different device, right? So I kind of just posted that for you to kind of review if you have any questions in regards to, what dynamic serving is, which is another way of a mobile-friendly website. Okay, but at the end of the day, even if you do responsive web design, that covers your bases, and as long as it's made simple for the Google bots to crawl your website, to go through your URL and all the content and all the pages that you have on your website, and it's been done fast and effectively, you should be okay with the responsive. But in some case scenarios, you may have to consider dynamic serving type of conversion. Excellent. So moving along, Amalia? Oh, I think I lost Amalia.
Yes, hi there. Sorry, I just lost him. No, I'm here. Can you hear me? No, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, very good. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a connection issue. Sorry about that, everyone. Yes, I just actually came across this article. I really like it as well. It's basically how to get content in front of millions of people and how to attract that. And basically, it provides you with a beginner's guide to marry great content with a strong SEO to maximize search visibility. So this really caught my attention because I know, of course, it's a great interest to everyone. What's more important than writing a great content is making sure everyone can find it. While search engine algorithms are getting better at discovering and ranking new content on the web, there are still a lot of things you can do to influence the process. Publishing content to a blog is only the first step in the promotion process. Balancing great content with quality and search engine optimization, it's just basically, it's more than just adding keywords to content. It's definitely an important part, but it's also, SEO is about seeking out and fixing any roadblocks that might be preventing your content from being found. This includes hidden site architectural issues or navigation issues, usability issues, and even keyword or content issues. Whether you're engaging an outside SEO consultation firm or whether it's yourself handling the SEO, you need to make sure you invest appropriate resources into uncovering content findability issues. A good SEO practitioner will run your site through a number of tools, like on a regular basis, as you know, looking for things that might cause the search engines to either bypass your content or rate it at a lower than it actually deserves. As you invest the time, and you do have to invest a little bit of money as well, into the proper keywords research and optimization, you will discover that your content is being found more often by the researcher. So definitely do keep that in mind. Writing compelling optimized title tags is also very important. One of the key elements of optimization is your blog post title tags. The title tag is usually the clickable link that appears in the search results, and you only have a limited amount of characters to convey your message. So that's crucially important that, whatever you input there is, available. Search engines give these tags significant weight when determining how pages are ranked, making the title tag the single most important piece of that optimizable page. Many other page elements can weigh a good title tag down. But on a well-optimized page, a strategic change to a title tag can even have a near immediate impact on the page's ranking. So please do keep that in mind as well. The title tag is often used by default as a headline when sharing a page socially. These social titles can usually be edited independently of a title tag, and many times it makes sense to do so. Ultimately, the title tag has to work with both search engines and visitors. When crafting your title tag, don't just think in terms of keywords, think in terms of the reader value. Make sure your content uses keywords properly. When it comes to keyword integration, the content of your blog post must align to the optimized title tag. If you blog post to target a specific keyword, your content should focus on that topic. It's also about producing content that is authoritative to the topic you're addressing, so that's very important. Also, search engines want more than keyword repetition. They want to see that you have a firm grasp and understanding of the topic. This means liberally incorporating other words that are frequently found on authoritative documents or on the same topic. Example, you want to talk about dog food? Repeating dog food throughout the whole text is not going to work. You'll have to add words such as pet, nutrition, health, anything that's relatable that'll help generate, search results on that page. Look beyond a single keyword phrase when optimizing and think about the topic as a whole. Okay, optimizing your images is also important. Don't forget this. This is an important avenue for both drawing in traffic and keeping the reader engaged. Many of these images are optimized on your page by an alternate text called aka alt text or alt attribute. The alt attribute is contained within the HTML code for the image. The search engine also uses this alt text as a signal for the image's content. You can also add the image title, a caption, even a description, as well as using appropriate keywords for the image file name. All of the elements can give you both visitors and search engines more information about the image, and naturally it would only make sense for the image to visually reinforce the content. So obviously you're going to have something that's going to affiliate to your content. As such, the content you use in the areas should do the same. Images can definitely be a powerful reinforcement on your optimized page. The same for any video or any other content that you add to that page. So just by following these simple techniques, you can this can actually help ensure the content you work on so hard will get the results you're looking for. Okay, Armando, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you, Amalia. Yeah, I think that this is kind of a bit of a going back to the basics, or going back to the basics in regards to content marketing. And I can tell you that whether you are using a production team to develop the content for your client's website or their blog, or you're using, let's say, an in-house content writer to write the blog post, and they're doing some optimization. I think these are very straightforward things that should always be kept in mind. Why? Because sometimes we get when we're working with ICs and they're providing us with the content, whether the client wrote the content, whether their marketing the client's marketing team wrote the content, whether the IC hired a content writer to create the content. Many times we find that content, that when it's received, for example, they're missing title tags, and sometimes the IC will tell us, well, you know what, the post is already up, can you please go and check it out? And when we go there, we still find that there isn't really a optimized title tags. So as small as this can be seen, it's not a mission. It is a mission critical, but it's one of the main ingredients through a whole SEO strategy or on-page optimization. Right? And I would tell you, to this day, we get content that's still missing optimized title tags. Right? So, this is, again, writing compelling optimized title tags is very important. Don't just think in terms of keywords like Amalia mentioned, but also think about what the reader value is and what you're going to provide to them. And doing that research very thoroughly, and avoiding spammy tactics such as writing that keyword multiple times, or writing or embedding, for example, multiple internal links for that keyword, right? So the whole key thing is really, like Amalia mentioned, which is very good, is using alternative industry-related keywords that are that can be used. So, for example, in the case of pet food or dog food, for example, you have nutrition, pet health, etc., because that's what's going to give you that authority, right, over time. Right? So doing that properly is very important. As well as another key thing that we always recommend, and it's something that's always missed, is really having images. So for every piece of content that your client, or that you're going to be posting on your client's website, or your client delivers, you should try to use an image all the time. We've seen that blog posts that have either an image or a video on the post actually get better results, better rankings than just just content, just all text. right? Sorry, a straightforward text. So again, as you're going through your content calendar with your client, make sure that you're always reiterating the fact that you want to have supporting images, and that can be optimized. Now, our team does do, they do that. Basically, we receive the content and we'll optimize it, but we definitely need to get those images from your client, because you can also use them. Not only does it make it more, improve the user experience, but also from an SEO, straightforward SEO perspective, from a tactical SEO perspective, it definitely helps to have images, because you can also optimize them. And like just like Amalia mentioned, the alt tags actually relate that the optimization of your image and reinforces what content you're writing in. So anyhow, very interesting. Back to the basics. Article that sometimes we forget, and we have to go back to it. So thank you for that, Amalia. Okay, just a bit of what I wanted to share other news that are happening around, and I know that that's something that we're going to be focusing on probably in the next coming weeks. Is a voice, how to optimize for voice search, right? And what's happening with voice search engines. Now, I will tell you that this is still something that's in its infancy, although there, obviously, it's what I mean by its infancy is actually optimizing for voice search. But what the use of it actually has been increased, and we talked about it a few weeks ago, even with teenagers, and I think it was under 25, the use of their mobiles to search for things. So voice search recognition, etc., is something that's increasing. So Google has really, as a matter of fact, invested time, resources, and money to make sure that that Google can actually, when you talk to a Google search engine, for example, the little microphone, and you decide to click on it versus type a search term, that they actually understand. So they actually have an acoustic lab, and if you want, you can kind of go to this article and look at the acoustic lab and how they're running different tests to make sure that the performance of apps and devices that depend on voice are capturing the essence. Now, actually a few years ago, there was about 25% error rate in voice search recognition. So, you out of, like, let's say four searches that you would do, that you would conduct on the Google on Google search engine via voice, there was 1 out of 4 would be erroneous, right? So let's say you were searching for I want to find a pizzeria, or I want to find Chinese food restaurant, for example. 1 out of 4 searches that were done in that scenario would fail, and that was because they were dealing with issues such as noise. They were dealing issues as pronunciation. So all these things that are important, Google pretty much took them to a lab and have been testing for the past few years, and now they got it patent down to 8%. So it's a big improvement, and obviously virtual assistants are getting are getting smarter, recognizing that because of these types of tests. But at the same time, at least with this article, it talks about Google's effort towards this towards improving voice search recognition within the Google search engine. They talk about the fact that they're also looking at the proper context. So really, kind of not just understanding literally what you're requesting, but looking at the context and communicating back on that context. So that's an area where they're still working on, but they've made some headways. And as a matter of fact, right now with the Google app, just looking at Google apps, you can actually speak to Google Apps in 58 languages, and they can be recognized. And as a result, in the study that they've done, voice searches on Google Apps have actually doubled in the past year alone. So that's another area that Google has been focusing on in regards to applications, right? And having that voice search recognition. However, although they've made all these issues, and there's one of the senior program managers, Lin Ha, what they call her, also known as the voice hunter. She actually runs a team of linguists that are involved in the project, and their whole goal is to help help users, or actually develop a specific or the ultimate Google application within the Google search engine, so that we can understand whatever language you're speaking with. Okay, and even looking at regionalization. As you know, there are different types of English from, let's say UK or American or Canadian English, and similar to Spanish, and looking at the different modalities within language. So far they've made such an improvement that they've brought down those mistakes from 25 to 8%. So something to really, even though there's still more work to be done, something for us as marketers to keep in mind, because that's the next big thing that will probably happen in the coming years, right? The whole domination of voice search, and obviously voice search recognition. What does that do for us? How do we optimize for that? So in the coming weeks, I hope to start sharing a little bit more in regards to that, and sharing information about how to do that, and what are the things that we can do today in optimizing our the websites for our clients to make sure that they are, let's say, voice search friendly. Okay. Although still this practice is infancy, I'm pretty sure there's good enough information out there for us to start sharing. Okay, another article that I wanted to share with you today was the whole aspect of being a generalist versus a specialist in SEO. What's the best approach? Now, the beautiful thing about us or as WSite consultants is the fact of the matter that we are digital marketers, right? But in the industry, there's this whole question about, should we be generalists versus specialists? And I know that some ICs in the network do focus a lot on SEO and can be coined SEO specialists, because they actually like the actual organic aspect of being an SEO specialist. But at the end of the day, what are we? Or what should we focus on more? How do we present ourselves to our clients? And this is why it's very important that we kind of keep that digital marketing title to ourselves, because we don't want to pigeonhole it into the area of just SEO. But this is something that's happening in the industry. And this interesting article by Erin Everhart, it's actually, I even wrote her name on here because she had written a few things, a few articles in the past, which really questioned what the role is of SEO and SEO marketers, right? And the one thing that she talked about is, do we specialize in one facet of digital, or has the industry changed so much that we're forced to cross-functional digital marketers? I think this is where WSite consultants have a leg up, because we present ourselves more as cross-functional digital marketers, where we're not just focusing on SEO, but we're focusing on other elements such as paid search, social media, even to the level of providing consultancy on a full-fledged digital marketing strategy. Right now, obviously, if you hire a specialist in SEO to fix a major issue, or a site has been penalized, and you hire an SEO specialist to fix it, obviously the likelihood of them getting it correctly is great. But if you just hire a generalist, they may not know how to fix it. Well, in this case, and again, WSite consultants have a leg up, because that's why you have production teams where you can actually leverage from their expertise as SEO experts. You just have to obviously understand the top level intricacies of the project, but the top level areas of the project, not the intricacies of the project. But again, we kind of come up very high on this question, because we're not just SEO experts. The other key thing is that a lot of companies are relating. They actually relate SEO to digital marketing, or SEO to online marketing, which is a totally different thing. An SEO expert would actually just focus on their search engine optimization. They may not be experts on paid search. They may not be experts on social media. So this is where WSite consultant really, again, has a leg up over the competition, because you're providing a total service, a one-stop shop in this case scenario, right? Now, the other key thing that Aaron question was, okay, should SEO be considered marketing? And are there SEO professionals who don't want to adapt, who don't want to see SEO as marketing? But in reality is that as SEO whether you're doing on-page optimization or off-page optimization, there's always a strategy, right? So you're kind of thinking like a marketeer. Yes, the implementation that's being done, whether it be by the IC, the consultant, or by your production team, is a very technical one, right? In terms of fundamental SEO, but at the end of the day, the strategy is more of a marketing thought, right? More of a marketing point of view than just becoming a specialist, right? So marketing, what is marketing? Marketing is educating potential customers about your product or service and persuading them to buy it. So obviously SEO does that, right? All of the content that we create, the link building strategy, the meta content strategy, all of these things have to be looked at from a marketing perspective, because they all want to educate potential customers, right, about a product or a service. So a good SEO company or a good SEO consultant will never exist without a mixture of marketing and technical skills. So here again, whenever you get the question out there, whether you are an SEO expert or a generalist, as a WSI consultant, you can definitely come up very high on the list, because as digital marketeers, you have a backbone and a network to assist you, whether you can become a generalist or a specialist. Now, you don't have to know, and you don't have to become a specialist. However, you have to realize that as a digital marketeer, we are now doing more things than before, right? Where in some cases now, content writing in itself is a big task. Social media strategy, with its part of adaptive SEO, it's its own area that has to be specialized, right? So we cover more than just your typical SEO specialist. So if you're going against your competition and you find out through the process that you're bidding against an SEO company, here's where you can win, because you're not just a generalist nor a specialist, you're a full-blown digital marketing consultant. So I kind of wanted to share this because sometimes I know that we get questions from ICs in regards to how should they represent themselves to some clients in different scenarios, and sometimes the best way to do it is as a cross-functional digital marketer, and the fact that you leverage from a network of production teams and alliances and partnerships that allow you to offer them a full complete service, not just SEO. So something to keep in mind if this question comes up. So I thought this article was very, very, very good. Excellent. Another thing that we want to share is another area that's growing is really video, the video marketing strategy, video digital strategy. And here we have 5 tips to boost your video SEO strategy. As we know, YouTube is the second largest search engine, and it should definitely be an integral part of your SEO strategy. As a matter of fact, within adaptive SEO, there's an area allocated to video optimization and video directory submission. And why? Because a healthy SEO strategy should incorporate video regularly, right? Why? Because it is the second largest search engine, and obviously more and more people are adapting this. Okay, so what are some of the things that you should be doing or you should be thinking about when working with an existing or a new client in regards to their video SEO strategy? In this case, for example, right? So one of the things that Alan Gottfried, who actually I think he's a marketing director for ClickZ, which ClickZ is a pretty reputable online marketing organization. They actually talked about the fact that how-to videos and video with numeric titles tend to garner the most views. So if you're looking at setting up an SEO strategy, the best thing is creating videos that explain things, right? The how-to videos, explainer videos, right? And you want to kind of have, for example, if you're dealing with an auto dealership, how to change your car oil effectively, how to measure, the air in your tires, etc. So a whole list of how-to videos will kind of get you further than just having the video without really any strategy behind it, right? So in addition, he talks about 5 key things that you could do to really boost your rankings, boost engagement for these videos. Number one is the fact that when you are uploading your video to YouTube, you will notice that there's a number of fields that you have to complete, such as title, description, annotations. So the key thing is take advantage of all of the fields that that YouTube allows you to complete and optimize them, right? Because you can actually add different things, leverage from all the little tools and widgets that YouTube allows you to activate and use it, because it'll make it easier for people to share, right? So, for example, Godfrey recommends that in the description field, you want to add your top keywords. So, in our case, when we're working with the video strategy, we actually put the keyword as part of that, as part of the video, or kind of leading into the video, right? So you kind of want to make it very clear of what people ought to expect. You're talking about the keyword, the specific keyword with a how to spin. Right. The other key thing that he talks about is, videos should be done as clean as possible and as professional as possible. You don't want to be running a bootlegged video type where it looks very images. It's not good. Quality of sound is not good. At the end of the day, that's gonna just hurt your authority because it's not being done properly. It's just what we like to call here in Canada cheesy, right? Fromage, right? You want to have a very good professional video being done. Now, because you have a tight budget, that doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself. There's many ways as a consultant. I actually know that some consultants that have a very good cameras, digital cameras with even mics. Maybe you're spending maybe $30, $40, $50 on a good mic, and you get good quality image and good quality sound, right? You don't want to be shooting video where you hear the sound in the background, the wind in the background, where you hear a lot of white noise or unnecessary noise in the background, because that just makes your videos look very cheap. There are other things that you can do, outsourcing things like closed captioning, editing, and motion graphics to save you a lot of time without sending you back too much. I know some ICs have an intro and an outro created specifically to brand the videos. They'll have in the intro the logo and important information of the client, and at the end they'll repeat it, right, with a tagline. Right? So you want to make those videos professional, and when you have the intro and the outro, you can always use it. Now, you don't have to do this. You can definitely, hire a videographer, a local videographer to work with you, and I know many ICs do that. Take the time to vet a good videographer. You don't just want to hire, somebody who just came out of high school or college, university, very little experience, and don't really have experience shooting videos professionally, right? You may want to test them beforehand, right? I also know that WSI does have suppliers within the network that focus on professional videography. Yes, these videos may cost you much, maybe costlier, but at the end of the day, the content that you're going to get is more professional. So always think about the production quality as well. Be mindful of mobile. He talks about the fact that you can now shoot professional video with a smartphone, and if you're going to be doing that, make sure that, again, sound quality, image quality is good, that it can be understood, and at the same time that you're keeping in mind the fact that whenever you're shooting, the majority of the people that are going to be watching the video are actually YouTube viewers. So YouTube viewers, for the most part, are mobile users, right? So keep in mind the fact of the use of mobile, and when you're shooting your videos, you keep that at the same time, right? So that's very important. Don't just do an elaborate production without keeping in mind that this is going to be for mobile users, because the majority of users are mobile users. Another key thing that they talk about is really have a schedule. And I do see this with many companies that we encounter, where they'll shoot a video once every 6 months. They don't really have a tight schedule set up or an organized schedule. And based on the studies that have been done, the companies that leverage the best leverage from video SEO strategy are those companies that at least are uploading they have a plan to upload a video at least weekly or on a 2-week basis, or at least minimum once a month. If your client's uploading a video every 3 months, I mean, they're not going to get a lot of traction. You have to look at your YouTube audience as an engaged audience that's going to come back to your YouTube channel, right? So trying to do that is important, and that's a little bit even for us. I've neglected putting our webinars on our YouTube channel, so that's one thing that we're doing. But really have a schedule, right? And a strategy behind it. Because Google and YouTube do look at user engagement, and that user engagement will only happen also depending on the frequency that you're uploading your videos. The other key thing that the author talks about is obviously a simple YouTube video widget on your website will drive more people to your channel. So these are things that you want to keep your users engaged. Again, your social media icons are very, very, very important. Sometimes we get requests from ICs who are doing competitive analysis for their clients, and all the time we find that on their websites, they have the Facebook icon, they have the Twitter icon, they don't have the YouTube icon, even though they have a YouTube channel, right? So again, be able to promote YouTube channel on the website will definitely drive more people to that channel. In addition, once you're in YouTube, because it's such a community, you can do some cross-promotional items, cross-promotional videos as well. So that's very important. Other simple things just to finalize, if you're doing video optimization, always, if you can actually post the videos on your website, do the transcript and so on, as well as do video submissions on directories such as Vimeo, Yahoo Video, AOL Video. So anyways, those are things that you could definitely do. Upload and share those videos on social media sites as Facebook and Google Plus and Twitter as well. You're going to get more mileage from your videos by doing that. Amalia?
Yes, hi everyone again. This is just basically a quick reminder once again that we are having the Digital Summit going on in Toronto. Please keep in mind that's on April the 16th, which is literally next Thursday. Once again, as you can see, these are the contributors who will be present. Our very own Armando will be attending. Dan Monahan, obviously the WSI co-founder, will be there. Jack Porter from Paid Search, Krista from G-Shift, Corey Eridan from HubSpot, Matt Irving from Big Commerce, and Alex Hummels will be there. Just please keep this in mind. If you can definitely attend, it would be a fantastic opportunity, very informative and beneficial to attend. You won't regret it. So,
Excellent.
Anything you'd like to add to that, Armando?
No, we're looking forward to that next week. If you're in the Toronto area, definitely, as a matter of fact, by the way, sorry, just by looking at this, I just remember that, I just remembered that registrations are closed. We have over 100 registrants, participants already. One of our ICs, Heidi Schwendi, that we work very closely with, she already registered about 60 participants, 65. So she already did like 65% of the registration. So that's amazing that she was able to do that. But if you're in Toronto, next week, hopefully, actually, in 2 weeks, we'll bring you updates on how this digital summit was. But anyways, wanted to share that with you. A little bit about us, about our clients and our services. If you have any questions in regards to responsive web design or converting sites to responsive, feel free to touch base with us. Anything on inbound marketing, questions that you have about that, feel free to reach out to Amalia or myself. Here is our information. There's no questions this week. That's great. We did have a bit of a lower participation than usual, and I guess this was because of the holiday, but we look forward to being back next week. Don't forget to rate us in K2. If you can just give us a shout out about if you do enjoy these webinars, and they are very helpful, please let the community know, the IC network know, so that way we can have more participants. It just benefits everyone. Again, have yourself a great week. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to another webinar, a LaunchPad webinar series next week, Tuesday.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Look forward to next week.